Hello friends. So in a subject of research methodology, today we will discuss the topic of questionnaire designing. Questionnaire is a structured form, either written or printed, consists of a formalized set of questions designed to collect information on some subjects or subject from one or more respondents. In other words, a data collection technique wherein the respondents are asked to give answer to the series of questions, written or verbal, about about a pertinent topic is called a questionnaire. There are following steps to design a questionnaire. Let's see one by one. First of all, first step is state the information required. This will depend upon the nature of the problem, the purpose of the study, and hypothesis frame. Here the target audience must be concentrated on. So very first step is state the information required. Means list down the information required. Second one, list down or state the kind of interviewing techniques. So what type of techniques you are going to use, that we will discuss. Interviewing method can be telephone, mails, personal interview, electronic interview, etc. A telephonic interview can be computer assisted. Personal interview can be conducted at respondent's place or at a mall or shopping place. Mail interview can take the form of mail panel. An electronic interview take place either through electronic mails or through the internet. So whatever technique you are going to use, you have to mention here. Third one, decide the matter or content of individual questions. So what type of question you are going to ask. There are two deciding factor for this. First question, is the question significant? You have to ask yourself. It means here observe a contribution of each question, and does the question contribute for the objective of the study? If the answer you find, then you have to go forward. Is there a need for several questions on a single question? Several questions are asked in the following cases: when there is a need for cross checking, the answers are ambiguous, and the people are hesitant to give correct information. So what type of questions, how much questions, so you have to decide in this step. Next one, step number 4, overcome the respondents inability and unwillingness to answer. The respondents may be unable to answer the question because of some reasons, like respondents may not be fully informed, respondents may not remember, he may be unable to express or anything else. The respondents may be unwilling to answer because of there may be sensitive information which may cause embarrassment or harm the respondents image sometime. Respondents may not be familiar with the genuine purpose. The question may appear to be irrelevant to the respondent. The respondent will not be willing to reveal traits like aggressiveness. For instance, if he is asked, do you hit your wife or sister, etc. So such questions must not be asked. So to uncover the respondent's unwillingness to answer, place the sensitive topic at the end of the questionnaire. It is advisable. Preface the question with a statement. Use the third person technique. For example, Mark needed a job badly and he used a wrong means to get it. Is it right? So different people will have a different opinions and depending upon the situation. So such questions must not be asked. And the categorized response rather than asking a specific figure. For example, if you want to ask about the income, you can also figure out that 0 to 25,000, 25,000 to 50,000, and so on. So such questions should be asked. Next, number 5 is decide on the structure of the question. So you have to decide the question structure. The question can be of two types: one structured and second unstructured. In structured question, this specify the set of response alternatives and the response format. These can be classified into multiple choice questions, dichotomous questions, or scale questions, etc. Unstructured questions, these are the also known as open-ended questions. So no alternatives or options are suggested. The respondents are free to answer this question in a way they like. So you have to decide the structure. Next one is number 6. Determine the question language or phrasing. If the question are poorly worded, then either the respondents will refuse to answer the question or they may give incorrect answer. Thus, the words of the question should be carefully chosen. Ordinary and unambiguous words should be used. Avoid implicit assumptions, generalization, and implicit alternatives. Avoid biased questions. Define the issues in terms of who the questioner is being addressed to, what information is required, when is the information required, and why the question is being asked. So clarification must be there. Properly arrange the questions. Number 7. So seventh step is to determine the order of the questions. Take decision on aspect like opening questions. That should be simple, interesting questions should be used as opening questions to gain cooperation and confidence of respondents. Then type of information you require means basic information related to research like classification of information related to social and demographic characteristics, and any kind of things like name and address and contact number. So you have to decide what you want. Then difficult questions. If you want to ask difficult questions, it includes the complex question, embarrassing, dull, and sensitive questions. So these are the difficult one. And effect on the subsequent questions and logical sequence. So you have to decide the sequence or arrangement of the questions. Next, number 8 is recognize the form and layout of the question. This is a very essential for self-administrated questionnaire. The question should be numbered and pre-coded. The layout should be such that it appears to be neat and orderly and not cluttered. Next one, reproduce the questionnaire. Paper quality should be good here, and the questionnaire should appear to be professional. The required space for the answer to the question should be sufficient. The font type and size should be appropriate. Vertical response questions should be used, like do you use a brand of something shampoo, and the answer would be yes or no. Next, number 10 is a pre-test the questionnaire. The questionnaire should be pre-tested on a small number of respondents to identify the likely problems and to eliminate them. Each and every dimension of the questionnaire should be pre-tested. The sample respondents should be similar to the target respondents of the survey. The last one is to finalize the questionnaire. So finally, check the final draft of the questionnaire and ask yourself how much will be the information obtained from each questions, and make sure that irrelevant questions are not asked, and obtain feedback of the respondents on the questions. So these are the steps to design a ideal questionnaire. Next one is the type of questionnaires. So following are the different types of questionnaires. First, computer questionnaires. Your respondents are asked to answer the questionnaire which is sent by mail. The advantages of the computer questionnaire include their inexpensive price, time efficiency, and respondents do not feel pressured, therefore can answer when they have time, giving more accurate answers. However, the main shortcoming of the mail questionnaires is that sometimes respondents do not bother answering them and they can just ignore the questionnaire. Second one is telephone questionnaire. A researcher may choose to call potential respondents with the aim of getting them to answer the questionnaire. And the advantage of the telephone questionnaire is that it can be completed during the short amount of time. The main disadvantage of the such a questionnaire is it is expensive and most of the time. Moreover, most people do not feel comfortable to answer many questions asked through the phone, and it is difficult to get sample group to answer question over the phone. Next one is a in-house survey. This type of questionnaire involves the researcher visiting respondents in their houses or workplaces. Advantage of such survey is that more focus towards the questions and can be gained from the respondents. However, in-house surveys also have a range of disadvantages, which include being time consuming, more expensive. Respondents may not sometimes wish to have that researcher in their house or workplace for various reasons. So these are some disadvantages of the in-house survey. Next one is a mail questionnaire. The traditional orthodox this sort of questionnaire involve researcher to send questionnaire list to respondents through post, often attached a prepaid envelope. So in main envelope there is another envelope was put, and pre-paid envelope has been attached. Mail questionnaires have an advantage of providing more accurate answer because respondents can answer the questionnaire in their spare time. The advantages associated with the mail questionnaire include them being expensive, time consuming, and sometimes they end up in a bin put by the respondents. So they just throw it in a bin. Next, one of the important questions is types of questions and questions. So which are the types of questions you can ask in your questionnaire? So there are 9 types. So multiple choice questions, rating scale, Likert scale, matrix, drop down, open-ended, demographic, ranking, and image choice. Let's see one by one. Very first, multiple choice questions. So also known as MCQ, multiple choice questions are the most popular survey question type, and they allow your respondent to select one or more option from a list of answers that you define. So they are spontaneous and easy to use in different ways, and also help to produce easy to analyze data and provide mutually exclusive choices, because the answer options are fixed. There are fixed 4 answers. You respondents have an easier survey taking experience. Perhaps the most important, you will get structured survey response that produce clean data. Multiple choice questions, also known as MCQs, come in a many different formats. The most basic variation is the single answer multiple choice question. In a single answer question, use a radio button, means like a button, circle button representing option in a list. Such format to allow respondents to click only one answer. They work well for binary questions, question with ratings, nominal scales. So here's how a single answer questions can look. Let's see the examples. So this is an example of multiple choice questions, MCQ. So multiple answer, multiple choice questions are commonly shown with the square checkbox sometimes. And they allow respondents to check off all the choices they apply of them. For example, in which of the following ways do you use the product? A common drawback, disadvantage of MCQ is that they force you to limit your response to a predetermined list of options. This can cause a bias in your result. What if none of your answers option apply to your respondents? So they might just choose a random answer which could impact the accuracy of your results. Next one is a rating scale questions. In a rating scale questions, sometimes it refers as a ordinal questions. The questions display a scale of answer options from any range 0 to 100 and 1 to 10, etc. The respondents select the number that most accurately represents the response. It is used to gauge, it means to determine the amount level, how likely customers would be to recommend their product to or service. So here is an example of rating scale question. You can rate the question from like 0 to 10. In left hand side, extreme left hand side, not at all likely, and in extremely right hand side, extremely likely. So with rating questions and numerical rating scale, it's important to give the respondent context. For example, imagine you ask the question, how much do you like ice cream? So without explaining the value of the numbers on your scale, a numerical rating scale might not make such sense. Let's go through the third one, that is Likert scale questions. So chances you have been seeing the questions type before. Likert scale questions are, do you agree or disagree? Questions you often see in surveys and are used in measure respondents' opinions and feelings. So such Likert scale questions give respondents a range of options. For example, starting at not at all likely, scaling all the way up to extremely likely. That's why They work well to understand specific feedback. For example, survey questions for employee often use a Likert scale to measure their opinion or attitude on a range of topic. Following is an example of Likert scale questions. So you can see the example about the such question format. Okay. Next one, number 4, that is a matrix question. If you want to ask a few questions in a row that have the same response option, then this metric questions are your best option. The series of Likert scale questions or a series of rating scale questions can work well as metric questions. Metric questions can simplify a lot of content, but it is important to use them carefully. Very large metrics like the one below can be confusing, difficult to take on mobile devices. Okay, so these are such. So this is the example of such questions, matrix questions. So you can see. Next one is number 5, drop down questions. In a drop down questions, it is an easy way to display a long list of multiple choice answers without overwhelming your response. With it, you can give them a scrollable list of answers to choose from. Sometimes showing all answers option at once can offer you respondents useful contents about the questions. So keep that in mind whenever you consider using more than one drop down question in your survey. Okay. So this is the example of drop down question. So the question is where do you live, and you have to select any of the area belongs to your address. Okay. Next, number 6 is the open-ended questions. The name suggests open-ended survey questions require respondents to type their answer into comment box and don't provide a specific preset, pre-decided, pre-printed answer options. Responses are then viewed individually or by text analysis tools. When it comes to analyzing data, open-ended questions are not the best option. It's not easy to quantify written answers, which is why the text boxes are better for providing qualitative data and allowing your respondents to offer feedback in their own words could help you uncover opportunities that you may have otherwise overlooked. So this is one of the example. A box is given and you have to write anything you want to. Next one is a demographic questions. This type of question in a questionnaire allows you to gain better insights on your target audience. Demographic questions are powerful tools to segment your audience based on who they are and why and what they do, allowing you to take an even deeper dive in your data. A classic demographic question asks for information like age, gender, and occupation. They can even ask about their relationship status. So this is one of the example. It's a relationship status question regarding relationship status. So you can see that. Next one is a ranking question. A ranking question asks respondents to order answer choice by way of preference. This allows you to not only understand how respondents feel about each answer option, but it also helps you to understand each one's relative popularity. So here is the example. Okay, so the question is rank the following shows in order of preference, 1 being your favorite and 5 being your least favorite. So they have given 1 for favorite and 5 for least favorite. So shows are given as you can see in the questions. So you have to give rank of the different options. And next one, last one is the image choice question. So our image choice question types allows you to use images as answers options. This works great when you want to respondents to evaluate the visual qualities of something, such as an ad or a logo. It can also provide a breath of fresh air for respondents, and it gives them a break form of reading. So this is an example of image choice questions. Okay, hope you like the video, and thank you very much for watching the video. Stay tuned for more such videos regarding the research methodology subjects. Thank you very much.